Welcome back to another Fallout 4 build from my infinite list of ideas. Today I'm showing you something special. A base inside a giant metal scorpion. Yes, it is huge. It didn't take as long to build as you might imagine. I didn't keep track of the hours, but my guess is around 40. Some of my bigger settlements took twice as long to build. I've had this idea for a long time, but didn't actually believe I could pull it off. Mostly because I've never really done any object tilting and scaling. Took me years to figure out why none of the keys actually worked before. Had to unlock everything in the ini file, it turns out. Tilting is very wonky and super frustrating to use. Anybody who's used that feature of Place Everywhere probably knows what I'm talking about. Might be that using a controller makes it even worse, I don't know. Obviously this is not a lore-friendly build. Nobody in the Commonwealth would be able to build something like this without trucks and cranes. I'd say building the pyramids in Egypt was a lot easier than this. I did, however, use all vanilla assets. They're just different sizes to serve my purposes. So the wonky, unrealistic lore of this metal fortress is that a bunch of raiders, the desert punks, named after the clothing mod I downloaded for this base, actually did the impossible and built this huge scorpion over the course of 5 years from industrial parts and metal scrap they scavenged.
Yes.
This scorpion is stationary, of course. It's one thing to build a fortress and another to engineer a walking mech to terrorize the Commonwealth with, like in the movie Wild Wild West, if you remember. That would make Liberty Prime look like a toy. So a giant metal base is the most suspension of disbelief I will subject you to. The desert punks are raiders, but they only raid other raiders, so they're basically the good guys. There are 4 children here whose parents are around. They are one big family. They do Jad and Psycho and won't live long enough to die of old age, but who doesn't in this world, right? The leader of this band of raiders, also known as the Scorpion Clan, made a deal with the Minutemen when they came to wipe them out when they were still living in a shanty town in the Boston ruins. He was not the leader of that group at the time, merely the only survivor begging to spare his life, offering to kill other raiders for them. It was a shameless gamble, but Preston Garvey agreed. To ensure that this raider would honor his deal, he sent 2 of his men with him. At first they worked alone, eventually they recruited a few other raiders that looked less unhinged than the rest, especially those very young were given a second chance at a better life. Some were still teenagers. The slowly forming desert punk raiders were given a password to be uttered whenever encountering the Minutemen so that they wouldn't shoot at them. And then they were let loose. The desert punks marked every raider camp they exterminated, proof that they kept their word. They kept their word because it was in their own best interest. They could continue to enjoy killing and robbing, but did it with the blessing of the Minutemen. And they were very good at it too, being familiar with raider combat styles. They were basically untouchable. Other raider groups did not like this, of course, and the desert punks got attacked a lot and suffered casualties. So they moved away from Boston and started building a fortress against their betrayed brethren out in the wilderness. That's when their lives became a lot easier. They experienced stability for the first time in their lives. The Minutemen even helped them set up their base. They talked to the Brotherhood as well, who sent a few engineers over. They built the desert punks up as a self-recruiting army whose only job was to kill raiders, and leave establishing order to the other factions. Once the Metal Scorpion was finished, word spread fast about them and even non-raiders showed up to join. Among them former Minutemen who embraced the ruthless efficiency and freedom. Everyone currently living inside this metal fortress lost somebody to raiders, was orphaned by them or abused by them when they lived among them. Over the years, the desert punks grew into a real family that looked out for one another. They might not be paragons of virtue, but they no longer take innocent lives, and they are free. The desert punks mostly take what they want from other raiders. They repurpose clothes into their own fashion. They take guns and maintain them, but don't build them themselves. Their food is either scavenged or hunted. They mostly eat red scorpion meat. They lure them to their base and kill them from atop their fortress. There are always red scorpions milling around, which also serves as a deterrent for hostile attacks by other raiders. The desert punks have grown accustomed to living with red scorpions. There have been fatal encounters in the past, but for the most part they've learned how to handle them. how to distract them while a group of them runs past them when setting out on a scavenging hunt. I really dig this clothing mod, it's perfect for Desperados Overhaul. Raider enemies spawn with them, so I spent an hour spawning raiders into an unused settlement location, killing them over and over until I had all the gear. I used a lot of pipes and those big mushroom vents to make the scorpion look more organic. Actual red scorpions don't look like this, they have fairly smooth shells, but I think it works pretty well. It was a lot of work to get the angle right and keep ad clipping to minimum. All the pipes and yellow industrial parts you get from the mod Craftable Greebles. It unlocks pretty much all industrial stuff. Pipes, robot parts, everything. I got super lucky that one such industrial part made the perfect leg. Well, technically the legs are too short, but I really didn't want to have to figure out how to build them from scratch. Finding a part that looked like mandibles when tilted was a stroke of luck too. This will probably be my last settlement I built on my Desert Overhaul save file. I plan to do a lush overgrown overhaul next that turns the game into The Last of Us. I will wait until the next gen update drops though, which I assume will be in April when the TV show releases. I expect it to mess up all mods, so I might not update it. If all we get is more Creation Club nonsense like with the anniversary edition of Skyrim, along with other stuff I probably won't care about either. The way Bethesda tries to make their previous games indefinitely instead of making an actual great new game is, let's say, infuriating. So yeah, there's an elevator that takes you all the way up into the tail above the Stinger. Pretty cool idea, I thought. The clan leader lives here in this sort of loft. It's the original founder of the Desert Punks. It's been about 10 years since his life was spared and he struck the deal with Preston Garvey. Up here is also the armory. All the extra guns and ammo and valuable loot is up here, secure. The clan leader doesn't go on raids much anymore. He likes to stay and keep this place secure, supervise repairs, plan the next raids and scavenging hunts. He makes sure his little army runs as smoothly as possible. He meets up with Preston occasionally to discuss future raids and what regions they will focus on. Sometimes the clan gets medication from the Minutemen when they run low. The Desert Punks are largely independent though. This is a relationship of convenience. They seek out only as far as it benefits them. They don't work for the Minutemen, they loosely work with them. This suits both parties just fine. The most annoying work on this build was tilting floors to an angle as walls and get the angle to match up for all the floor tiles. I used the floor of the industrial kit from the mod Stairs, Ladders, Ramps. The rusty look was just what I needed. The mod has this floor as ramps as well, but they are longer than floor tiles, so that didn't always fit. Also, those tiles have a shiny bottom. So then I needed to tilt those upside down and glitch them onto the outside. Or use the rusty recolor of the metal floors as ceilings to get rid of the shiny surface. The rusty metal recolors are from the Kuro Tab, by the way. It's what I use for the majority of the Scorpion's body. There's so much detail work that went into this build you wouldn't believe it. I might try to upload the blueprint to Nexus so that people can download it and check out how I built it. The number of required mods might not be that insane here, at least for the basic design. Decorations are from a bunch of mods. Even though the Scorpion is huge, it doesn't tank the frame rate as you can see at the top left of the screen. I actually didn't want the FPS counter in the video. I forgot the Steam one gets baked into recordings, unlike the other one I used before, but I noticed too late. Anyway, big parts are not a problem, only the number of parts, and the more detailed the worse it gets, as you know. I also didn't use too many lights and wires. There are only 22 settlers here, I think. So very moderate as bases go with me. Oh, and I built it on the same save file as my previous settlement that was so big everything started to glitch out and disintegrate. So it was not save file corruption. Everything is fine here at the edge of the map. Thanks for watching this video. I will take a break from Fallout again. I purchased Enshrouded the other day after seeing a number of amazing bases. What you can do with the base building tools looks incredible. I'm super excited. Broke my no early access games rule for it, so I hope I won't regret it. No idea how long it will take me to unlock all base building objects, but hopefully I can build something cool and share it with you on my channel. Enjoy your Sunday, guys. Until next time.